Have you ever stood up from your favorite chair, ready to head into the kitchen or maybe just out to the mailbox and suddenly felt your legs hesitate? Maybe it wasn't painful, exactly, but it felt harder than it used to, slower, less steady. And for a second, you wondered, when did walking become something I have to think about? It's not just you. That quiet shift when movement starts to feel like effort is something that sneaks up on so many of us after 60. And it's not always dramatic, it's subtle. One day, walking around the block feels energizing. The next, you're choosing the shorter route. Then you're holding the railing more often, avoiding uneven paths, or telling friends maybe next time when they suggest a stroll. That's how it begins. That's how mobility slowly starts to shrink your world step by step without much warning. But here's what I want you to know. If walking has started to feel harder, it's not a sign that you're broken. It's a signal. Your body is speaking to you not in shouts, but in whispers. And those whispers are asking for support, for attention, not punishment, not regret, just care. And the beautiful truth is, you can give that care. You can rebuild mobility, even after it starts to slip. You can feel stronger on your feet again. It doesn't take extreme workouts or a complete life overhaul. It starts with understanding what's really happening and gently, consistently giving your body what it needs. If you're watching this and thinking, that's me, you're already on the right path, because awareness is the first step towards strength. Before we go deeper, if you're someone who wants to feel stronger, steadier, and more confident in your body, please take a second to hit that subscribe button. This channel is a space for people like you, people who may be older but aren't giving up on their bodies or their joy. And if walking has started feeling difficult for you, leave a comment below. Share what's changed. Your story could help someone else feel less alone. Let's start where most people don't even think to look, the ankles. Now, I know that sounds simple, maybe even silly, but tight, stiff, or weak ankles are one of the biggest reasons walking starts to feel shaky after 60. Your ankles are your body's foundation. Every step begins there. And when they're not moving freely, when the muscles and tendons around them lose flexibility, it's like trying to walk on a stiff, unbalanced base. You might notice it when turning quickly, stepping off a curb, or walking on gravel. That slight wobble, it's often not from your knees or hips. It starts at the feet. The good news is, you can restore ankle mobility gently, without pain. Simple things like rolling your ankles in slow circles while sitting down, or standing on your toes for just a few seconds each day, can begin to wake those muscles up again. It's like telling your body, I remember how to do this. Let's practice. And while we're down at the feet, let's talk about something else that quietly erodes our confidence in walking: loss of muscle in the hips and thighs. After 60, our body naturally starts to lose muscle, especially if we're sitting more than we used to. And one of the first areas to weaken? The muscles that lift our legs, support our knees, and stabilize our hips. These are the muscles that help you step over something, catch your balance, or rise from a seated position without needing to push with your arms. When they start to weaken, walking doesn't just feel harder, it feels uncertain. You might feel like your feet are dragging more, or that lifting your leg for a stair takes more effort than you expect. This is often mistaken for getting old, but it's actually muscle loss, and the best part is that can be reversed. You don't need a gym, you don't need to lift heavy weights, you just need to move those muscles in ways that wake them up, ways that say, hey, I still need you. Start by sitting on the edge of a chair and slowly standing up and sitting back down a few times a day without using your hands, if possible. If that's too hard, start with using your arms and work toward independence. That simple motion to stand is one of the best ways to bring life back into your hips and legs. I once met a man named Henry, 74. He told me he felt like his legs had turned to rubber. He used to walk to the cafe every morning, but then stop because he just didn't feel stable. We talked about his habits and discovered he hadn't been using those thigh muscles much at all. He sat most of the day, and when he stood, he leaned heavily on his arms. We started with just 5 slow chair rises a day. Within 2 weeks, he noticed a change. Within a month, he was walking to the cafe again slowly, but proudly. That's what happens when you give your muscles a reason to come back. Now, if you're thinking, but my balance is the real issue, you're not alone. Balance issues are one of the top reasons older adults stop walking long distances. And again, it's not always about the legs. Sometimes it's your brain-body connection that needs a little more attention. Balance isn't something you're born with and then lose forever. It's a skill, a practice. And like any skill, it can be retrained. One simple thing you can start doing right now: stand next to a sturdy surface like your kitchen counter and gently lift one foot off the floor for just 5 seconds. Then switch. Don't try to challenge yourself too hard at first. The goal isn't to wobble or fall, it's to wake up your stabilizing muscles. These are the deep muscles around your hips, ankles, and core that keep you upright without you even thinking about them. And just like with Henry, the more you use them, the more they return. It's not about becoming an athlete. It's about becoming steady again, capable again. The truth is, walking gets harder not because your body is broken, but because parts of it have gone quiet. The ankles that once adjusted easily, the hips that powered your stride, the muscles that used to fire without hesitation. They're still there. They just need to be reminded of their purpose. And when they remember, you'll remember too. What it feels like to walk without fear, to move without bracing, to trust your steps again. You might not notice it right away, but over time, your world starts to shrink when walking feels harder. You take fewer steps, fewer outings. You start to calculate whether the distance from the parking lot to the door is worth it. And even if no one else sees it happening, you feel it. That slow withdrawal from movement doesn't come from laziness. It comes from caution. From that whisper inside that says, what if I stumble? What if I get tired and can't make it back? And that's completely human. But let me offer something that could gently shift that story. The solution to walking less isn't forcing yourself to walk more. It's building a body that wants to move again. That starts with something we often overlook: your core. Now, when people hear core, they usually picture six-pack abs or people doing crunches at the gym. But the core is so much more than that. It's the deep system of muscles that wraps around your trunk, your lower back, your sides, your abdomen. It's what keeps you upright. It's what keeps you stable. And when it's weak, even simple things like walking down the hallway or reaching for something on the shelf feel off balance. A weak core doesn't always cause pain. Sometimes it just causes hesitation. A slight lean forward, a slower step, a moment of uncertainty before you turn. But here's the good news. Your core is incredibly responsive, and you don't need fancy equipment or floor exercises to wake it up. Something as simple as sitting tall in a chair and gently tightening your belly muscles for 10 seconds at a time while breathing can start to reactivate that connection. Imagine pulling your belly button gently toward your spine, then letting it go. That's it. No need to strain, no need to feel the burn, just awareness and consistency. One of my favorite techniques is called standing tall. Anytime you stand up at the sink, in the shower, in line at the store, pause for a second, shift your weight evenly between both feet. Pull your shoulders back just slightly, and imagine a string lifting the crown of your head up. That moment of posture awareness, that's your core saying, thank you, I remember this. And while we're waking things up, let's talk about something most people never associate with walking: breathing. That's right, the way you breathe affects the way you move. When breathing becomes shallower, your posture collapses, your shoulders round forward, your spine curls, and suddenly, walking feels compressed, stiff, small. You might feel out of breath faster, not because your heart is weak, but because your chest doesn't have space to expand. Take a deep breath with me now. Inhale through your nose, letting your belly rise. Hold for just a second, and slowly exhale through your mouth. Do that a few times a day, especially before or after walks. It opens your chest, realigns your spine, and reminds your body that walking isn't a chariot, it's a rhythm, a flow, a breath-by-breath conversation between your mind and your muscles. And speaking of flowlets, not forget about hydration. So many older adults feel more fatigued, more stiff, and more prone to stumbling, not because of age, but because of something as basic as not drinking enough water. When your body is even slightly dehydrated, your muscles cramp more, your joints stiffen, and your coordination, the smoothness of your movement starts to fade. Think of water as lubrication for movement, not just for the joints, but for the whole system that helps you walk. Aim for small, consistent sips throughout the day. Add a little lemon, Or sip warm herbal tea if water feels boring. But do it. You'll be amazed how much easier your legs feel when they're not fighting dryness from the inside out. Now, there's something else that makes walking harder, but it's not in your body. It's in your head. It's the fear. The fear of falling, the fear of looking weak, the fear of not getting back up. This fear is so common and so powerful that many people stop moving altogether just to avoid it. But here's the hard truth. Avoiding movement doesn't prevent weakness. It creates it. I want you to know you are not alone in that fear, but you are also not powerless. There are gentle ways to retrain your confidence, one step at a time. Start by walking in safe, known spaces like your hallway or the living room. Walk near a wall or countertop so you can reach out if needed. Try turning on soft music and walking slowly, just for the rhythm of it. No goals, no distance, just presence. You're not trying to perform. You're trying to reconnect. That's how trust comes back, not from pushing harder, but from listening more closely. I once met a woman named Evelyn, 77, who hadn't gone outside alone in over a year. She had fallen once, and the fear never left her. But she missed her garden, missed the breeze on her face. So we started with 5 steps out her front door, holding her son's arm, then 10, then just standing outside barefoot on the grass. She cried the day she watered her plants on her own again. Not because she walked far, but because she walked freely. That's what I want for you. Not miles, not records, just freedom. Freedom to move. Freedom to trust your steps again. Freedom to say yes when life calls you outside. Because walking should never feel like something you lose. It should feel like something you come back to. And no matter how long it's been, you can come back. There's something deeply human about the desire to move through the world with ease. To walk across a room without hesitation. To stroll through a market, a park, or your own backyard without worrying about your legs giving out. It's not about going fast. It's not about going far. It's about going with confidence. That's what mobility truly is, confidence in motion. And when that confidence begins to fade, the world starts to feel smaller, not just physically, but emotionally. You start saying no to things that used to bring you joy. Simple outings become obstacles. You watch other people move freely and wonder, will that ever be me again? Let me tell you, yes, it absolutely can. Because here's the most important thing you need to remember. Mobility isn't something that vanishes overnight, and it's not something that comes back all at once. It's a conversation with your body, a relationship. And just like any relationship, it's built through presence, patience, and care. You've already started that process just by watching this video. You've opened the door to possibility. Now it's about what you do next. So let's bring everything together not as a to-do list, but as a gentle rhythm of daily life. Start each day with awareness. Notice how your body feels when you get out of bed. Don't judge it, just notice. Wiggle your toes. Roll your ankles. Take a few deep breaths. Stand slowly. Let your muscles wake up with you. This small act of connection sets the tone for the whole day. Throughout the day, find tiny pockets of movement. Maybe it's 10 steps more than yesterday. Maybe it's sitting tall in your chair and practicing that gentle belly engagement you learned. Maybe it's simply standing still and feeling your weight settle evenly into both feet. These aren't exercises. They're invitations. They say to your body, I haven't forgotten you. I still need you. Let's move together. And at night, before sleep, take a moment to thank your body for carrying you, for trying, even on the hard days. You don't have to be proud of distance or speed, just presence. The act of showing up, of choosing care over fear, is strength in its purest form. And if there are still moments when walking feels hard, remember, you are not weak. You are rebuilding. You are retraining muscles, nerves, and beliefs that have grown quiet. And that kind of work takes time. It also takes courage. The same courage you've shown just by watching this far. I'd like to ask something of you. If any part of this spoke to you, if you saw yourself in these words, in these stories, please take a moment and leave a comment below. Let us know what you're working on, what step you're taking next. Whether it's 5 minutes of breathing, or the decision to stand without bracing on your hands, or simply believing that your legs can be strong again. When you share, You make space for others to feel less alone. And you remind yourself that progress, no matter how small, is always worth celebrating. And if you haven't yet, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're not just talking about health here, we're building a community. One where age is honored, not feared. Where movement is encouraged, not judged. Where strength is reclaimed one step at a time. Because you are not past your prime. You are standing at the edge of a new chapter. And this chapter is about power not in your past, but in your presence. Not in what you used to do, but in what you choose to do now. Here's to walking with purpose. Here's to balance, freedom, and trust in every step. Here's to you still moving, still trying, still here. And here's to your body not giving up, just waiting for you to come home. You've got this, and we've got you.